I don't know whether they number in the hundreds or the thousands, but there certainly are a myriad of these video games around today that our kids play. And I often wonder what is going on in the virtual reality games that they enjoy so much. The same kind of reality is present in countless videos and movies that bring in megabucks at the box office. One of the facets of these entertainments is the unreality that characters are killed and then reappear alive to continue their involvement in the plot. It begs the question, how do these virtual reality entertainments influence our understanding of actual lived reality? Is life cheapened when it ends and returns with no explanations or consequences? The level of violence in all segments of society, including mass abortions, would seem to indicate that some people, perhaps many, have a reduced understanding of what life is and what is the value of human life. What would today's children think of a dramatization of the scene in today's gospel? They would find that a dead young man returns to life and continues where he left off. What's so different with that from the media they are used to? The real situation and the meaning of this scene may be lost on them. They may be lost on us too, having heard this story for so many years. It seems so familiar and doesn't shock us into an awareness that a truly dead person is brought back to life through the power of God in Jesus. What is first proclaimed in this passage from Luke is that Jesus is moved with pity on seeing the mother of the dead man. And that's really important. The first thing that Jesus says is, do not weep. Jesus has mercy on this woman, a widow who is mourning the death of her only son. And in that society at the time of Jesus, a woman without a husband or a son would be left destitute. No place to go, no nest egg, no social security. Jesus, however, is not going to let that happen. Because the next thing that happens is that he goes forward and he touches the coffin of the dead man. Now that action took a lot of courage and disregard for his own reputation. Jewish law forbade anyone to touch the coffin of a dead person. Jesus would be reprimanded for not obeying the law. However, Jesus' compassion for this mother in her desperate situation overruled the prohibition of the law. And then finally, Jesus speaks directly to the dead person. Young man, I say to you, get up. And immediately the dead man got up and began to speak. Oddly, there is no record of what he says, which leaves much room for speculation. At this point, the gospel then says Jesus gave the man back to his mother. You have to wonder, was it the awareness of his own coming death and of his widowed mother's loss that moved Jesus to respond mercifully and dramatically to the loss and sorrow of this mother? In the second reading today, St. Paul tells of his long journey to learn Christ Jesus after he had spent many years of his life persecuting Christ in and through his followers. Coming to accept Christ was a complete turnaround for St. Paul. Previously, Paul would have been scandalized by Jesus' conduct in this gospel today. The converted Paul, however, would be ready to follow in Jesus' footsteps in his encounter with suffering and sorrowing people. Right now, today, you and I, too, are called to be Christ to the widows and the hurting people of our day. We will see the needs and sorrow. We will reach out, even if others won't understand or agree with our actions. We will bring life to loss and death. In this great year of mercy, this gospel reminds us today that Jesus' ministry of compassion and mercy will continue to us, or not at all.